Yes, you are back in the place where you know I'm a reliable source when it comes to learning all things wines, bites and beats. Now today's session is all about wine making. Now that sounds shit to come to here where all I talk about is wine, food and music, synergies, alcohol, all the good stuff. And I'm now going to do a video about wine making. I'm not going to bore the tits off of anybody. All I'm here to do is tell you how the stuff is made on a brief basis so that next time you open a bottle of giggle juice you can pour it, guzzle it, sip it away, enjoy it and think, how the hell so they get a bunch of grapes, squeeze them, make liquid, chuck a load of alcohol in, packaging, how do they get that from the vine to the bottle to us, gullet, tummy, enjoyment, brain, endorphins? How do they do that? Well, I'm going to tell you. You ready? Come on. Well, wine making is actually really easy. A monkey could make wine if you train him or her well enough. Winemaking is one of the most simplest agricultural practices that's ever been conjured up. All you need is a load of them. Loads and loads and loads of these. I'll tell you how many you need. For a bottle of still wine, be that red or white, there are approximately 750 individual grapes in each bottle of giggle juice when it's still. It's different for sparkling wines and sweet wines. Now for me, when I first heard that, I thought, shit, that's a lot of grapes. How many grapes does it take to make a case of 12 bottles? What if I order 10 cases? How many grapes are that? And my mind went silly. Went on and thought, that's millions of grapes possibly in this country. That's billions, that's trillions, that's squillions, it's blah, 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 blah. Too much for my little brain to fathom. Now before the wine is made, you need a piece of land in a certain climate, be it hot, cold, moderate, somewhere in the middle, close to a huge body of water or not, up in the mountains, in the valleys. You need to decide where you're going to plant your vine that will go on and grow your lovely, lovely grapes. Now these are seedless grapes. Very nice they are too, as you can see. That's nice, but grape varieties that you and I know for wine? Nah. These are seedless grapes just from the shop. And the reason why I did that is because you know the size of a seedless grape. It's yay big. Look at my fingernail, look at the size of it. Winemaking grapes, for example, Merlot for your reds or a black grape variety, Sauvignon Blanc, good old Pinot Grigio, good old, bad old, still an argument, Chardonnay, still an argument. All these grape varieties vary in size depending on the vigour of the bunch of grapes, depending on what the sun's doing, whether it's belting them down and ripening the sugars or the water and they go poof. It varies a hell of a lot. I can't say to you, here's a seedless grape. All grape varieties on the planet, remember there's 12,500 roughly. Tomorrow someone will find 12,501 in the middle of somewhere. But not all grapes are this size. They're actually a lot smaller in real life. They're also not as tasty as this. This is made for eating, which we enjoy. We enjoy those eating, but winemaking grapes taste a hell of a lot different. You won't want to eat them, trust me. So, come on. In order to make wine, you need to collect your grapes. That's done by hand, by machine. At this point, who cares? You need to collect thousands and thousands of grapes that you're eventually going to whack into a great big vessel. For now, let's stick with what picture we conjure up of winemaking is a great big steel vat. Can you see my invisible steel vat? It's just there. Do you see it? Just there. Have a look. Then inside that big steel vat are thousands and thousands of grapes, all of which need to be crushed. Now, inside every grape that makes wine, including this one, there are three main things that you need to make wine. For now, I'm talking about white wine, the white giggle juice, white grape, white wine. Ready? You have sugar, water and acids. Acidity, you know what that feels like, it makes you go, Sugar, you know what that feels like, tip of the tongue, ooh. And then the water just quenches your thirst. 70% of a bottle of wine is water. You're getting hydrated at the same time as getting squiffy. It's good, isn't it? So once you crush those grapes, you're allowing the acidity, the water and the sugar to all say hello. But they start saying hello and they say, yeah, hello sugar, hello water, acids. Should we have a party? Well, we're missing one person. Who are we missing? Mr. Yeast. So, there are some yeast cells found on the skin of a grape, but the majority of the time you need to add yeast to that stainless steel tank just here Still got it? You need to add the yeast, so that converts those sugars inside the grape to ethanol. In other words, alcohol. In other words, booze. In other words, the giggle behind the juice. That's what you need to do to make wine. Once you allow that over a period of time at certain temperatures, the yeast will naturally eat, Pac-Man style, the sugar, convert it to alcohol, and there you have the basis of your wine. After that, the winemaker or the winemakers, he or she or both, will then manipulate things, whether they finish the wine in oak barrel, oak chips to give it some character, whatever they want to do. But that essentially is how to make a white wine. Now, it's far more complex, lots more science and biology than that. There's no biology in winemaking. Lots more chemistry than that, but the nuts and bolts of it is, per bottle of wine you need about 750 of these buggers to make one bottle. So imagine how much you need in a stainless steel tank to make 1,000 bottles. Bloody loads. Over a period of time at a certain temperature, the sugars inside this grape, the sweetness, will be converted by the addition of yeast, and that will convert that to alcohol, and then you have your levels of ABV, whatever that may be, whatever the winemaker desires. Then you have your white wine. Now, for red wine it's a little different. Pretend this grape is a black grape. The only difference is, this grape that makes red wines still contains acids, sugars and waters. And with the addition of yeast, that will convert the sugars in the grape to alcohol. You'll have a wine. However, there's a reason why the colour of red wine is purple, ruby, garnet, tawny, whatever the colour it may be, red. That's because the skin of black grapes contains colour. You squeeze any black grape, the majority of the juice is pretty much clear. Common misconception is, where does the colour come from? Must be the juice. No, it's not, it's the skin. So you imagine during winemaking, when the sugars and the yeast and the water are all mixing together, everything's converting, having a party, there's no colour. So once you leave the juice in contact with the skin, you extract colour. Therefore, you're going to add colour to your wine. In theory, the longer you leave the juice in contact with that skin, the darker it will become. One thing that comes as a result of that is tannin, the dryness factor, the cinnamon challenge peanut butter factor. Now, we all know when you sip on a red wine, with the exception of Pinot Noir maybe, you get a bit of a dry mouth. That comes from the skin too. So the trade-off there, if you want more colour, you're going to have to put up with more tannin. If you want a darker wine, you're going to have more chewiness. So it depends what you want to do. So that's how to make wine. I am sweating like a pregnant nan. So that's winemaking, simple, easy peasy. I said I wasn't going to go into the science. I'm not going to talk to you today about pH levels, the different types of tartaric acid, blah, 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 soil types. I could and I want to, but not just yet. I have to restrain myself, reel in the rod, don't fire the arrow just yet. But all in time, my good friends. That is how to make wine in this most rawest, most simplest, goof-proof way. Be safe in the knowledge that this stuff is easy to make, but almost impossible to perfect. So when you're spending your hard-earned cash on bottles of giggle juice, be mindful of what it takes to make. It's easy to produce to begin with, but when you're perfecting a wine that tastes as good as anything you spend in the supermarkets, providing it's £7.50 upwards, bang for buck, be mindful of the winemakers taking their time to give you the best bottle of giggles ever. Winemaking made easy, Guzzle and Gray's Wines, Bites and Beats style. I hope you enjoyed that. Bit informative, not too technical. Find me with some questions. The best place to find me is on Instagram, Guzzle_and_Grays. Loads of shit happening there. Lots of Wines, Bites and Beats parties coming up through August and September, doing a few cool garden parties. Please reach out if you want some fun stuff done in your own gaff, all to do with wines, bites and beats. So for now, I'll say ta-ta, thank you for joining in, subscribe to the channel, leave any comment, good, bad or otherwise. I'm a reciprocal for all. Happy drinking, leverage your beverage, stay safe, see you on the next one.